sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, what up? What's up? What up, guys? What up, ladies and gentlemen? What up, what up? How y'all doing? Howdy. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. So, y'all know me, every time I come up here is because I want to talk about something very important or a very interesting subject or topic. And before I dive into today's topic, I want to show you today I'm rocking my Slayer t-shirt. Yay! Let me see if you can see it from here better. There you go. Pretty cool. I bought it at a concert. Um, so yeah, I bought it at a concert. 2017. Yeah, they did a tour in 2017 with Testament, Carcass, Obituary, and I forgot the other band. I think no, there was, yeah, that was, anyway, that was an amazing, badass tour. I'm so glad I went because I knew that was not going to happen again. That was like the type of thing is like one in a million or once in a great while opportunities you have to take advantage of. Anyway, this is for my metalheads. Whoever's a metalhead and follows me or, subscribe to my channel. This is my Slayer t-shirt. Yeah. Anyway, guys, so before I dive into today's topic, I wanted to remind you guys that the purpose of this channel, when I created this channel, was with the purpose of documenting my journey, my healing journey, when I started having health issues back in 2013. And I started recording some stuff, but then I kind of, life happened and I deviated and I abandoned the project, and then I never, finished it. So I resumed to the project like the beginning of December. Yeah. So now, like, I reintroduced my channel. I think it was the beginning of December. I think it was the beginning of December. Yeah. And I did a reintroduction of my channel and explain, how what I want to do with this channel and how I want us to grow together and evolve. And this channel was made for, or the purpose of this channel is to document my healing journey, to share with you my health issues, the treatments, the procedures that I've been through, that I have received in order to get better and improve my health. Excuse me, I need water. Experiences, but also academic experiences, because I have few degrees, few certifications and licenses and stuff like that. I've been going to school my whole life, on and off. I have acquired quite a bit of knowledge. I don't know it all. I don't claim to be the best at anything or an expert at all, because I'm not. Excuse me. But I have a little bit of knowledge, personal knowledge that I acquired throughout life experiences, and academic knowledge that I have acquired going to school, going to, college, university, uh, whatever you want to, whatever other institutions you guys call it, wherever you live. I know each country has different names for educational institutions, but here in the United States, you have elementary school, high school, college, university, and that's it. So other countries, I think they have different names. Like, where originally I'm from, Venezuela, we don't have such a thing as college. We have, elementary school, high school, and university. So when you graduate high school, you go from high school to university. We don't have such a thing as college. College to us is more like technical. We have like technical universities that focus on technical, or trade type majors. Careers are only like, it takes you like 1 or 2 years, to get trained on and to earn some type of certification. But university to us is the same thing as here, university. But instead of going for 2 years, well, usually people go, well, it depends. Some people go to college first and then transfer, or some people just go straight to university and, they study for 4 or 5 years and they get their whatever degrees. In Venezuela, we study 5 years. It was 4 years, 4-year degree. In 1 year, the last year is pretty much your thesis. So you're like, you're working and creating your thesis, and then, you present it to your professors and discuss it, and then they tell you if you pass or not. So depending if you pass or not, that means that you will graduate. So that's how it works over there. So anyway, I'm just, I don't know, I'm totally rambling, but not rambling. I think this what I'm talking about has a purpose. I think I'm explaining because a lot of people, I talk about a lot of um, important subjects, or topics are very specific, and people sometimes may ask themselves, who is she? Who the hell is she? Like, what's your, like, what kind of authority do you have to talk about this stuff? And even though I'm not a licensed psychologist yet, I was working on becoming, a future licensed therapist or LMFT, or getting my PhD. But I'm still debating that. After what I went through with my health issues, I'm debating if I want to stick to the master's degree program or if I want to change to a PhD program. Since I love, love, love doing research, and I'm a super nerd, I love, doing research, but I also love interacting with people, and I want to be able to help others and treat, people and help them with their, psychological issues and trauma and stuff like that. But I also love research. So I'm still debating if I'm going to stick to masters or change to PhD, or I may get my master's and get a PhD as well. Let's see. I love school. I love going. I love going to school. I love the lifestyle. I'm a nerd. I'm a closet nerd. I love, love learning. Um, I'm always, even though right now I'm taking a break, I'm not going to school. I read a lot of studies, scientific studies, articles, books. So I'm constantly learning. I'm like, my hunger and my thirst for knowledge is immense. It's huge. So, I don't. You don't need to go to school in order to learn. Like, I consider myself an autodidact. Autodidact or autodidact. Yeah, a person, which means a person that it's self-taught. Like, you teach yourself. You're in charge of your own education. You don't depend on educational institutions to teach you. Although I like educational institutions because they have structure, and they have they have a really good foundation and blueprint of the things that you need to learn and how to learn them, so you can achieve a certain level of knowledge and skills and authority. So, and of course, they're certified. So if you graduate, you get certified. You get your license as whatever, whether you're a psychologist or a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever the case may be. So that's why I'm a very big fan of higher education, and I recommend it. It's not necessary. You don't have to go to university or go to college to learn. You can learn on your own, but it's good to go to an institution, an educational institution, because, like I said, they have the blueprint model for you to follow, so you can learn in a very progressive and in a very progressive and comprehensive manner or way. So anyway, so I wanted to talk to you guys about, you know, my shirt. I want to share my Slayer t-shirt. Like I said, I'm gonna wear a different t-shirt each time I make a video. And I wanted to reiterate and talk about why I created my channel and what's the purpose of my channel. Excuse me. See, before the video, I was not thirsty. I didn't have issues with my voice. I was not burping. As soon as I start talking, I want to burp. I want to drink water. My voice, my throat gets dry. I start itching everywhere. It's like, oh my God, what a mess. But anyway, that's what makes my videos real. And you know, you can tell I'm not making it like perfect and super edited and scripted. Of course, you know, I do research and I study and I read and I have notes, but I try to keep my videos as natural, as organic and flowy as possible, with very light editing. So anyway, so yeah, so I want to talk about that. Refresh your minds or remind you the purpose of my channel. So I'm going to talk about psychology, philosophy, nutrition, health in general, mental health, supplements, natural remedies, non-natural remedies. I'm going to talk about fitness, even art, music, dancing, singing. I can talk about many things, but mainly I want to focus on, you know, the psychology, philosophy, nutrition, health in general, and also, you know, sharing my personal experiences with my health issues and what I did to improve my health. And so yeah, I want to share that. I want to share that with you guys. And what else? So anyway, today's topic I want to talk about. This is a quite interesting topic that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. Of course, you know, you hear people talking about it, but they don't go in depth and they don't explain the difference between these two things. So today's topic, I want to talk about healthy and unhealthy jealousy, because there are two types, and the word says it itself, you know, unhealthy and healthy. So what's healthy and unhealthy jealousy? So jealousy, everyone knows, you know, how what is how does it feel to be jealous, you know, of something or someone. So healthy jealousy, let's start with healthy jealousy. So jealousy is healthy jealousy. It's when you see someone doing really good, like they got their, for example, you know, they went to college, they went to university, they got their master's degree or their PhD, or they started a business, or they bought a house, some type of really important positive event in their lives. And then maybe you are not quite there yet, or you're working on it, or you are on your way to any of those paths, or maybe you're a little stuck for whatever reason, because life happens. You know, some people are luckier than others. Some people are lucky to reach their goals and to accomplish things faster than other people because their circumstances have been better. You know, they have better chances. And then some people, you know, it takes them longer to achieve certain things for, you know, life circumstances, because life, it's tough, it's unfair sometimes. You know, it is what it is. But so healthy jealousy is when you see others doing really good, but that makes you feel good, it makes you feel happy, yet it motivates you to do well or to do better yourself, to improve yourself, to better yourself. So for example, you see someone that you never thought in your life, oh my God, so and so, they got their master's degrees in something. I'm just using this as an arbitrary example, because you know, I'm I'm focused on education. To me, education is huge. So let's say, to me, you know, to get a higher education, a master's or PhD is a huge accomplishment. It's a lot of work. I know because being there. I mean, I don't have a PhD or a master's yet, but I've been going to school on and off my whole life, and it's a lot of work. It's not easy, but it's fun and it's awesome because you learn. But anyway, so you see someone doing good and you feel happy and you're like, oh my god, like I wish, like, oh my god, I wish I had my master's degree or my PhD, or I wish, I could buy a home or a car or whatever the case may be. But that kind of, but it's a positive feeling. It's a feeling that propels you, that motivates you in a good way, in a positive way. That it makes you, yeah, it propels you to do good, to do better, to work harder, to keep trying, to keep fighting. So that's a healthy way and a healthy manner to deal with, that type of, like, I call it motivating, yeah, positive or healthy or motivating jealousy, because you're not jealous in a malignant way. You're just like, oh my god, I wish, or I wish I, or even health, like, oh, I wish my health was better and I was able to do this and that. But but what can you do? So it makes you think, okay, what can I do to improve my life, to improve my health, to improve whatever the situation you're dealing with. Like I said, it propels you to do good and to better yourself. It's healthy or positive jealousy. It lifts you up. It's empowering. It's energizing. Um, it makes you feel joyful and happy and motivated and driven. Like, it drives you. It's like, oh my god, like, you know what? And it tells you, it lets you know, like, okay, if so and so can do it, then that means that's a possibility, that it's possible for me to do the same and to propel into, grow and evolve in life. So that's what it means, that there's a possibility for you to do the same. So that should make you happy and make you feel hopeful that you can achieve the same thing. So unhealthy, that's the healthy positive side. Then now we're going to talk about unhealthy jealousy. So unhealthy jealousy is when you don't feel good. You don't feel happy when other people are, okay, I'm going to change my hair this side. I don't think I've ever done this in videos, but sometimes my hair bothers me in one side of the face. I feel kind of hot in here, but if I turn on the fan, it's gonna be like super loud. It's gonna make the audio like really crappy. So anyway, so unhealthy or negative jealousy is when you feel, that feeling, those negative feelings that they don't make you feel good, make you feel yucky, icky, like, you know, you don't feel happy for the people that are doing good, and you feel resentful and hateful and depressed and sad and mad and anxious, and it's just like a really yucky, it's like a really negative, heavy energy. And that's unhealthy jealousy. When you're jealous, you're like, oh, I wish, I had the same, but screw this person. Like, how dare they to do well and achieve this and achieve that. And so you see the difference, when you feel like happy, like happy, like healthy, positive jealousy. Like, oh my god, that's awesome. Like, it makes you feel good and happy that others are doing good, but at the same time you use that as a positive motivator, and motivates you, to do good things and better things for yourself. And then you have the negative side that it's like it keeps you stuck. So that negative energy, all that resentment and hate and negative feelings, drains you. It drains your energy, and it makes you it makes you feel, yeah, depressed and sad and anger and angry. And what it does is it stunts you. It keeps you stunted, and it keeps you from growing, from evolving. It keeps you stuck. So why I'm talking about these things, because I noticed that it's a human thing. Humans, we all do that. We we all are capable of that. We all have positive and negative emotions and thoughts, and it has to do with our nature. And I want to talk about also these all this stuff correlates to, you know, childhood um, trauma, or your environment, your childhood environment, how you grew up. It has to do with, excuse me, it's correlated to, yeah, to our environment. So it's a nature versus nurture type thing. So it's a combination of nature and nurture, and it's correlated to our attachment, to attachment, to the attachment theories. You know, there's different types of attachment. You know, when you when you're a little infant, or yeah, when you're a kid, it depends on what type of attachment you developed. Is gonna tell a lot about you in the future as an adult. And also it has to do, and when I say nature versus nurture, I'm talking about, because all of us are born with a certain type of a temperament, and that's inherited, that's genetic. There's a lot of things that are genetic and they're inherited, and you're just born that way. And then nurture, which is your environment, then shapes and molds you, and can either trigger it and make it worse, or it can make it better. So that's why, you know, they have the theory of nature versus nurture, because those two go hand in hand. They go together and they depend on each other. So yeah, nature, you have predispositions, you have genetic predispositions, but those predispositions are triggered or determined or stimulated or activated by the nurture, by your environment. So all those things, you know, our personalities, our temperaments, our feelings, our thoughts, everything is correlated to, you know, our upbringing, how we grew up, our environment, our experiences, if we went through trauma or not, if we have normal, you know, childhoods. So um, I read some work. I was reading a while ago. It's been a while since I read those books, but I read the work, one of Carl Jung's books about shadow work. I love Carl Jung. I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm a huge fan of Freud, even though he's a little controversial. A lot of people don't. Some people don't like it much, and I understand why. There's certain things I don't agree with Freud, but we gotta give him big props and big kudos, because he's the granddaddy, the the daddy dandy of of, you know, psychosexual development and psychoanalysis, and he created a lot of great theories that have been used till current times. And, you know, and as you know, psychology, it's a soft science. It's a science, but it's a soft science, because it's, you know, I mean, even though now we have the technology, back in the day when psychology was born or created, first of all, let me go back. My hair, I'm shedding hair everywhere. Let me go back. Psychology derives from philosophy. Philosophy, it's been going for millennia, since way before Christ. You know, in the Greek and Romanian Greek times, you know, the Greeks, you have we have all these great philosophers, you know, Socrates and Plato, and all these amazing philosophers, you know, they wrote tons of documented, you know, their ideas and their findings and their studies, and And then, with the time, other scientists and other philosophers, were born and evolved, or used the prior philosophers' work as a blueprint, a model to to scaffold or to build on top of that work. And that way they created their own theories and their own work and their own findings. So all this work accumulated throughout millennia was finally developed into a science. And when I said soft science, is because back in the day, when psychology was created, which was in Germany, uh, and I think the first hints of psychology were in the late 1700s, but it became more concrete and more real, more official. It became official in the 1800s, psychology. And of course, back then they didn't have the technology we have now. So, like, neurology, and we have CT scans and MRIs, and we have all kinds of, uh, gadgets and things like that they can, see inside of us. We didn't have all that technology back in the day. So that's why it's called soft science, because it's a science based on subjective things about, thought and thinking. Yeah, the way we process thought and perceptions and behavior, uh, and all this stuff. So that's why it's called a soft science, because it's not like a hard science. Like, you do like physical things to prove things, to experiment with things, like the medical field, like physics and chemistry. Those are like hard sciences, and hence, psychology, it's called soft science, because it doesn't work with like physical things, experimenting on physical things and objects or organic compounds. It's more of a mind, thought, and feelings and behavior, words, body language, and all that stuff. So anyway, so I totally digress. I get all excited, and then I go to a different path. But the reason why I'm talking about all this, because all the things that I'm talking about, they all correlate to each other. They all or they are all or they all are connected with each other. So the works of I was talking about the work, Carl Jung work about the shadow work. It's very connected to, our negative, our light and our dark sides, like yin and yang, the dark and the light and the dark side. We all have that. It's just human nature. I don't care if people, no, I'm all light. I'm a light. I'm a being of light. I'm an angel. I don't do no harm. I don't think negative things. I don't wish. Bullshit. Everyone, if you are that type of person that you have never ever had, supposedly, which is bullshit, you never had a negative thought or a negative feeling, or have said or done anything negative, you are either a liar, you're full of shish, full of crap. I don't want to say. I don't know if I can curse. I just like, see, I get all itchy. I don't know if I can curse. Right now my videos are not monetized, so YouTube probably don't give a shit. There you go. But in the future, when they get monetized, they may, I don't know if you're able to say the word shit or use curse words. Anyway, I can always edit it or mute it, whatever. So anyway, if you're telling me you're a being of light, you have never thought anything negative or said anything negative or done anything negative in your life, you're either full of shit, you're lying, or you have suppressed, or you like, or you dissociate and you're not conscious about that dark side of yours, and you suppress that, and then you feel and you think that you don't have those thoughts and those feelings, but you do. You're just suppressing it, and you're dissociating, so you don't have to accept it and acknowledge it, and deal with it. So either or. Everyone, even the nicest, the the most benign and most noble person, human in the world, have had and still has negative emotions and negative thoughts. That's a very normal thing. So I was talking about Carl Jung's work, the shadow work, is because he talks about how important it is to be conscious about our unconscious, and to be conscious and aware of our shadows, our dark side. And when I say a dark side, I'm not talking about like crazy psychopathic thing. Like, I'm talking about feelings of, jealousy, envy, hatred, resentment, prejudice. Yeah, all these like negative, yucky, icky, feelings that we don't like to acknowledge sometimes, or to yeah, to acknowledge or to accept, because because society has taught us like feeling that or thinking that makes us bad people, or yeah, like we're a bad person, or we're bad if we how dare we to acknowledge and to accept those negative, totally normal negative thoughts that every human being has. So that's one thing I love about his work. I mean, it's super complicated, super complex, hard to digest type information. So what I'm telling you, it's like super simple. It's been simplified and totally compacted, and summarized, so you kind of understand just the basics of how our minds and our unconscious mind work. So yeah, having negative, positive thoughts, very normal, and it's okay to acknowledge them. Acknowledge them. Uh, just sit there with them. Accept them. Process them. But just know that those are totally normal things to have, things to feel. What's not normal is to get stuck on them and dwell on them and act on them. That's when the ego and the super ego comes in place, and it keeps you in check. It keeps the id, that the primal lizard brain, the primal primitive part of us, which is the id. um, the hunger, the sex, the thirst, the the very basic primal feelings. So you can act on them, like as a compulsion. You have to have self-control. That's why you have your ego, your super ego. They monitor all that stuff, and you're like, okay, when you start having those negative feelings of jealousy or of envy or whatever, you're like, okay, I see ya, I hear ya, and sit with those, sit with them, sit with your thoughts and your negative feelings. Don't push them away. Don't repress them or oppress them. Yeah, not don't suppress them. Just let them linger and think, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this way? And try to try to find the sufferer. Try to find why you're feeling that way. Whatever thing you saw, it triggered that feeling. So that means that there's something inside of you that it's hasn't been resolved or dealt with, and that's when you have to examine your thoughts and your feelings and try to find out why you're feeling that way, so you can work on that and correct that, and say, hey, this is very normal. It's totally okay to feel this way. um, I need to find out, why am I feeling like this? Why this situation triggered this type of feelings? And this is an exercise that has to do with emotional validation and emotional literacy. And it's something that I'm going to make a video a different time, because if I talk about everything I want to talk about, the video is going to be over an hour. It's already 35 minutes, so I want to keep it type of short. Although this type of philosophical um, topics are very hard to keep short, because there's so many things to talk about, and that I deviate, that I digress, and I kind of go in different paths, because everything correlates with everything. So I want to talk about the unhealthy, what it's unhealthy, and healthy and unhealthy jealousy, why we have these feelings, you know why humans, what are the correlations of nature versus nurture, your environment, childhood trauma or childhood upbringing, and how the work of Carl Jung and Freud and Zizek and Adler correlates to all of this stuff. And those are videos I'm going to make, for some other time. I want to talk about those topics in depth. But right now, I just wanted to tell you, what's healthy. Talk about healthy jealousy and unhealthy jealousy, and how to acknowledge them, and how to process them and deal with them, and sit with them. And just remember that it's human. Those thoughts, those unconscious thoughts that we tend to push away, or we tend to suppress, are normal thoughts. They're very, very normal. It's just part of the human consciousness, and we have to come to terms with it. We have to accept it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with acknowledge them, trying to find out why we feel that way, work on whatever unresolved issue we have. And then if you have those, if you have those feelings and thoughts again, negative thoughts and feelings again, then you can identify them. And because you learned the root of it, and you learned how to identify those feelings. You're like, oh, okay, this is why I'm having these feelings. Because for example, when I was little, something like this happened to me, and now that I see the situation, it triggered my memory, and it kind of like, it didn't feel good. And it has to do with, all the things that I went through childhood, or when you were a teenager, or even as an adult. So there's always things that correlate with other things. When something happens to you, whatever experience, whether it's a negative or positive experience, it gets stored in your body. It gets stored in your body and in your mind. And you may not remember it all the time, or not at all. Sometimes our brains, in order to protect us from trauma, suppress memories to the point where you don't remember what happened to you. You may remember, and then you see something or hear something, or you go through something, and that triggers that hidden, that suppressed memory, and then boom, it comes to the surface. You're like, oh crap, I didn't know I went through this. And then you realize, oh shoot, I went through, okay. Then something, reminds you of what you went through. And that's just part of, human nature. We have our protective mechanisms, we have our coping mechanisms, that, keep us safe and in check. So remember that, like I said, totally normal. Just sit with your feelings, with your thoughts, acknowledge them, accept them, try to find the root of the problem. Or sometimes they don't have a root. Sometimes they're there. They just happen. And then just to learn to, like I said, to just sit with it, and then they will go away. Feelings and thoughts are just part of how our body, our brains work. It doesn't define us. It doesn't mean that's who we are. It's just part of our nature. Um, and just have to learn to that they're normal. Don't feel bad. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel guilty. It's just part of human nature, and that's it. And also remember that um, the heaviest experience that you're going to experience as a person, as a human, is to be alive, is to experience life as a person. There's no heavier experience in life than experience life as a person, as a human. Just to be alive. It's hard. It's extremely hard, because when you're born and you're alive, that means that you're in a constant state of survival. You're fighting for your life. You're in a constant. You're constantly moving, and you have to stay motivated. You have to find shelter, food, water, protection, um, comfort, love. So we're being alive. It's a lot of work. It's hard. It's not easy at all. And that's why I'm saying, just the fact of being alive, it's the heaviest and the hardest experience that you're gonna have as a human. To live, to be alive, to live, it's the hardest thing that you're gonna do. And life throws you, curveballs that sometimes you don't expect, or actually you never expect. And that's just part of life. Some people have it easier than others, unfortunately. Everyone, is born in different circumstances, and it's something that we have to learn to accept and to be okay with that, and not to dwell and get stuck and become stunted with the negative, toxic energy of envy, of unhealthy jealousy and envy. It's okay to feel those feelings. The first step is emotional validation, and the emotional validation takes you to emotional literacy. So you will become a very literate person when it comes to emotions. So emotional recognition, emotional validation, takes you from being in a dark place, in a stuck, negative, dark place, into a positive place with light and hope and progress and evolvement. And from emotional darkness to emotional validation to emotional literacy. So I just want you guys to know that, be aware of that, and it's like everything. You have to practice. You're not going to learn everything in one day. You're not going to change or improve in one day. Everything takes time. It takes work. And one of the things that I want to touch to, like, one of the things I notice, like, when people get jealous in an unhealthy way, or they get envious, usually they envy and they get jealous of people that achieve or obtain things in a short period of time, in a short period of time, or in an easy, quick, fast manner. People get angry about that, because, like, how dare they, like, how come, yeah, just because they reach and they achieve that so quickly, because they think, okay, it didn't took a lot of work or a lot of talent or skill to achieve that, so it's not fair, because it has taken me way longer, and I'm still not done, or I still haven't achieved that, or I haven't even started, to do whatever these people are doing, because my circumstances are different. But when you think about it that way, like, oh, this so and so, whatever, they reached that because, oh, they accomplished, they were able to do that because they had it easy, they just got lucky. And some people get lucky, don't get me wrong, some people get very lucky. People are, there's, okay, it's not people's fault where they were born into. Some people are born into wealthy, rich families. Some people, it's not your fault who your family is. You don't choose that. You were born into this world, and all you know is you were born into, you could be born into a super wealthy, rich family. You can be born into a not rich family, but like a functional, loving, caring family, or you can be born into a super dysfunctional, crazy family. So those different scenarios are gonna mostly, not always, but mostly determine the outcome of your life and how you evolved and how you grow grow as a person, you know. So yeah, some people are luckier than others that they're born into rich, wealthy families and they have it easy financially. They don't have to work or worry about anything, or you know where their next meal, or how they're gonna, where the next meal comes from, or how they're gonna pay for college, or how they're gonna, and other people have to struggle with that. But then maybe those families may be rich financially, but then they may be uh, maybe they're not loving and caring and validating. Um, they don't, take care directly of their kids. They have nannies and maids and stuff that take care of everything. And the kids, yeah, may grow up with money, but then they grow up stunted emotionally and intellectually, mainly emotionally. And the same thing, and they're people that may be born into dysfunctional poor families, and yeah, they may struggle more. It takes more time for them to reach certain things because they are in constant survival mode and protecting themselves, trying to survive, so they don't have time to just be themselves and just bloom and just worry about evolving and growing and learning. They're worrying about, how do I survive? And that stunts you, that keeps you from achieving things at the same rate as a normal person that is growing up in a normal or normalish. I hate the word normal because there's no such a thing as normal. But within reason, like normal, that's why I do the air quotes, normalish environment, in a relatively stable, loving, caring, balanced environment. Yeah, you're going to have way better chances to achieve the things that you want to achieve and to be who you are and to be a functional, healthy person, compared to someone that either had it all and had too much of wealth or material things but not enough love, or someone that had, didn't have any material things or financial stability and also had dysfunctional, family dynamics. So that is, I mean, everything influences everything. So you have to take that in consideration when you're having those negative thoughts. Just make sure that you don't dwell on them too much. Like I said, you can sit with them, think about them, acknowledge them, uh, accept them, and be like, okay, I see ya, I hear ya, okay, oh, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? I need to figure out that. I need to find that thing that's like making me feel this a certain way, and I don't like this feeling. I don't like this feeling. It's kind of like, it makes me feel weird and crappy and shitty. Am I a shitty person? Am I a bad person for feeling this and feeling that? No, that's just normal. These are normal thoughts and feelings. That's okay. I'm human. That means you're human. 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 You're a human being. You're a person. To feel, to have, to think, to have all those thoughts and emotions and feelings, that's being human. That's normal. It's okay. I give you permission. I give you permission. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't dwell on that. Don't dwell on them for too long. Don't get stuck. Don't get stunted by them. Don't act on them. If you don't have the, if you don't have self-control, and then you have a compulsion issue, then that's a deeper issue that you need to take care of professionally, and I would suggest to seek out professional help. There are plenty of amazing therapists and psychologists out there that can help you with that. They are more skilled and they have more experience and more tools than the tools that I have. So yeah, I would suggest you to do that if you're dealing with compulsion issues. You try to control yourself, but then you cannot. You don't have any control. So that's a different problem that comes from emotional regulation, from childhood, and it can go deeper than that. I'll have to make another video because it's almost an hour. This video is almost an hour. So uh, yeah, I'll talk about that stuff in a different video. There's so many awesome topics I want to talk about, and I'm going to keep making videos about them. But you know, I like to mix it up with psychology, philosophy, nutrition, supplements, and stuff like that. So anyway, remember, don't dwell on them. Don't get stuck in that toxic negative energy. Uh, Accept them, acknowledge them, and just keep pushing through it. Don't act on them, and they will go away, just like waves. Feelings and thoughts are like waves. Sometimes they can be like tsunamis. Like boom, they hit you hard, but they will eventually go away. They will pass. So remember, they will pass. They will go away, and just you know, stay still. Practice. Okay, this is one of the things that it helps me so much. And I've always been a grateful person, but you know, when you're younger, you're immature, and you haven't experienced a lot of things, you tend to be a little bit more about yourself, a little bit more self-centered, and that has to do with lack of maturity and experience and lack of development of your brain, because our brains don't develop completely until our mid-late 20s. So when you're younger, you know, it's all about you. You're not really aware of the true deep meanings of life, and the dangers and the dangers of life, and boundaries, and yeah, and experience in general. So you tend to be like, whatever, you know. But as you get older and you experience things and you go through life and you acquire knowledge and experience and maturity, then you start seeing the bigger picture and understanding, okay, this is why X, Y, and Z happen, and wow, like I'm grateful to have this, to have that. I thought I didn't have enough, but I actually have a lot compared to other people. Actually, I'm very lucky, I'm very blessed. So gratitude is something that I recommend immensely to practice. It's something that has taught me a lot in the last few years, to practice gratitude. Make a list. Make a list of 5 things a day. Think about 5 things a day, and you have to write them down, because writing them down not only make them more concrete and official and more real, but it also imprints writing, imprints makes an imprint in your brain and your memory. It helps to develop and to yeah, it helps to develop your memory, to keep your memory strong and functioning and going. So writing is very important. Handwriting, not typing. Handwriting. There's tons of scientific studies with MRIs, fMRIs, of people writing. That's why a lot of professors in college and university, most professors, not all of them, because with technology, you know, now everybody has a computer and a smartphone and everybody's typing things, but a lot of professors still um, keep it as a mandatory part of their syllabi, of their syllabus, to, when in class, take handwritten notes, because when you handwrite your notes, you make an imprint in your brain, especially on the left temporal lobe. That's where your comprehension, speech comprehension, and then part of your brain, the mid part of your brain too. This part and this part of the brain are involved in memory. short and long-term memory, but specifically long-term memory. So that's why they tell you you have to write down everything. So that way you will make an imprint in your brain and you'll remember it. And if you have to, revise and study, it'll make it easier for you to study and to remember all the notes that you took in class and what the class was about, the lecture was about. So every day, 5 things, anything. Think of anything that you're grateful for. We think, sometimes we think, because we're stuck in maybe in a bad rut and or in a negative space, in a negative place for whatever reason. But if you think about it hard enough and deeply, you can find so many things to be grateful for. And that's why I say, like, every time I finish my videos, I always say, remember to practice gratitude. And the reason I said that is not because, oh, I want to be this cool Zen hippie chick or whatever, or Ms. Namaste. No, I'm not trying to be that. I'm telling you, practicing gratitude, it truly, there's studies. There have been studies done about, like I said, the same thing with writing, with handwriting. People that practice, that meditate, and people that practice gratitude and think about positive things, your brain, they with I think with the fMRI, they can see the different parts of the brain lighten up when you practice gratitude, and that helps you to heal, and that helps you to release all these awesome neurotransmitters that help you with, like serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and any other hormones. And our brains, our minds are powerful beyond our comprehension, beyond our beliefs. And believe it or not, if you rewire, you train your brain to think about positive things, it rewires your brain into thinking, and you make new neuropathic, you make new neural pathways. You create new neural pathways in your brain. So that's why I say practice gratitude. That's why meditation is so good and so effective. You don't have to, you can meditate even 1 minute a day. I start 1 minute a day, and then you kick it up a notch, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. Just sit there and just relax, take deep breaths, and just focus on one thing. And eventually you'll learn how to do that longer, and then you'll close your eyes, and then you'll become more sophisticated. But meditation, breathing techniques, breathing in and out, breathing through your belly and then exhaling, helps you not only with memory, but it also it stimulates your vagus nerve, was in charge of the parasympathetic system. It's in charge of calming you down, keeping you. It's in charge of keeping your whole body calm and in a state of homeostasis. So remember that. 5 things a day, write them down, and it gives you perspective. The good thing about gratitude, practicing gratitude, is it gives you perspective. It gives you joy, a sense of joy and inner peace, and gratefulness. It makes you feel grateful. It evokes, emanates, and evokes so many good feelings, and evoking all those good, happy thoughts and feelings makes your brain, your body release all these awesome neurotransmitters that are going to make you feel good and make you feel healthy. It's going to make you a healthier person. So practice gratitude, and remember, every day you wake up, I'm going to grab my thing before I go. Every day you wake up, it's a new day. It's a new opportunity for a clean slate, for a new day, for a new chance, for a beautiful life, for a new start. So be grateful, don't waste it, and as always, stay strong and stay metal. That's my dorky metal side coming out. Metal, stay metal. Keep it metal, guys. Here, rocking my Slayer t-shirt. So anyway, guys, love you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. I want to thank to all the new subscribers. Thank you for your love, for your support. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. I know how hard it is to stay engaged in long videos, but some videos require just longer time. So anyway, thank you so much. Don't forget, practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. And don't waste every morning that you wake up. Be grateful for every day that you wake up, because it's a blessing. It is a huge blessing to be alive and healthy. So stay metal. And see you later. Bye. Ciao. Bye bye. Bye. I'm gonna do my hair this way. How about this way? There you go.